As we talk about the role of the CEO, we often can fall into a trap. We talk in silos, a CEO's job in terms of strategy, a CEO's job in terms of organization. But the best CEOs feel that their job is cutting across the organization to create a golden thread that touches strategy and organization and talent and ways of working, etc. And a perfect example of that is the topic of relevance. A number of CEOs have talked about the fact that in turbulence, it is absolutely essential that your company is profoundly relevant to the customers that matter and to the employees that deliver customer promises to those customers. And relevance isn't just some slogan. It actually has to translate into what you do differentially for customers. It has to define the activities of the firm. Now, we've been incredibly lucky that there's a series of CEOs, founders, and board members that have volunteered to speak on video to share some of their lessons with other CEOs. So today, as I talk about this issue of relevance, I'll make sure I bring in their voices, which are far more important. So let's look at Pizza Hut as an example and my conversation with their CEO, Aaron. I think it's true to say that most Americans of my generation had their first pizza at a Pizza Hut. So this company knows what it means to be profoundly relevant to its customers.
We are a behemoth, the second largest pizza player globally, the 9th largest quick service restaurant, 20,000 restaurants. We make almost 1 billion pizzas, 500,000 people work in Pizza Huts around the world, and we are less cut through, less relevant to the younger generation today than we were 20 years ago. The journey that we've been on is how do we get into our real DNA of who we are when we are at our best? When we're at our best, it's a connection thing. It's absolutely about the pizza. We are proudly serving iconic, delicious pizza, and it really is about fun and joy. So now the whole goal is, in today's environment, with the younger consumer in particular, how do we make sure that we are the pizza of choice and that we show up as connecting people through the joy of pizza? And the insight was this: the people working in the Pizza Huts were the exact type of target consumer that we want to win over. Our jobs in the restaurants are hard, and we have got to make it a very respect-worthy place. Whether it's for a summer or a career, we got to make it better. We are a franchisor. I have to make my franchisees money. I just do. The system works in a franchise business by them having enough money to invest enough to make the environment as effective as possible. And it's on me and my team to make enough money for the franchisees and then to show what good looks like. It's not a commodity product. It's not a commodity job.
And what's fascinating about Aaron's conversation is how he starts with product. Is it relevant to customers? Is it relevant to employees? If he can make it relevant, then of course he can then talk about the talent proposition, about partner economics, franchise economics, and his role in linking it together. But his job starts with getting the organization to fall back in love with the product. What's also interesting here is how he avoids the trap of treating jobs as commodities. If we stop believing in our product, we start to think about it as a commodity. And if we deliver a commodity product, then by definition, the jobs that deliver are commodity jobs, undifferentiated, no cause for celebration, not relevant. So you bring joy to every moment. Now let's shift to a very different perspective, that of a high-growth technology insurgent where the battle for relevance is life and death. It's about winning in the market every day, every hour, every second. And I sat down with Kalyan of Flipkart to discuss his battle for relevance, not just with the Indian consumer, but also with his own teams.
The country is going through a revolution in many ways, and our industry is in the middle of that revolution. E-commerce in general, consumer internet in general. The role which I have, or the role which we have in this company, is to bring in technology, get value through scale, and organize these industries. For example, the vision itself of the company, access and affordability, giving the Indian consumers access to good quality products made affordable to them.
And Kalyan has delivered against this bold mission by embracing the idea of bilingual teams. They operate fluently in technology and also in the joyful routines of the business.
one big debate we used to have over the years is being a tech company and at the same time being a commerce company. How do you marry both of those from a customer value proposition point of view, talent pool point of view, when we work with our sellers, when sellers work with brands? The role of technology is actually, it's weaved into the culture of the company. Technology is not the role of the CTO only. It's not something which is needed only for consumers. It goes for every stakeholders. It's not for a particular function. Each and every day, each and every action we do, everything we do has to be technology first. We don't want commoditized managers who just look at data analysis and make decisions. It has to be married with customer intuition. So that's a very big, unique way of evaluating talent at Flipkart.
It's also interesting to see how he's keeping this battle for relevance going in a company which, by its very success, is inevitably becoming larger and more complex.
Our industry changes, who knows, every 2 years, sometimes every 4 years, sometimes. And the kind of change we go through, if you're not careful and if you're not timely, you could just be irrelevant. You need to rethink who the customer is. What is the value proposition? What are the next generation of technology trends? Everything that got this business to this level, every 4 to 5 years, you need to completely rethink who is the right talent. And the way it happens internally is that at least 1 out of 3 teams in the company at any point of time is going through a turnaround. It could be for opportunities or it could be to handle a crisis. And I'm the one in many cases who kind of provoke them to go through that process, start them off, put the right structure in there, ask the right questions, resource them well. The company now consciously does that. That's the way, I don't want to call it a template, but that's the way we operate now.
And as we've seen at both Pizza Hut and Flipkart, the key to maintaining relevance is to be in charge of this golden thread that starts with purpose, but then connects with your spiky capabilities where we are trying to differentiate. It connects to the talent that matters and ultimately creates an operating model that makes those jobs great. And it's about celebrating that connection with customers and your talent, which is at the heart of cultural change. And one of the CEOs who's most unique at celebrating these connections is David of Macquarie.
Macquarie Technology Group started as a telecom company, and it was right back at the beginning of deregulation in 1992. And the opportunity we saw from the very beginning was to see subscribers as customers, as they were then called, and the opportunity to make a difference in a market that was massively underserved and overcharged. And we've always used the lens of the customer to decide on which innovation is relevant to them. To embed the idea of customer first, we did 3 things. First of all, we had complete transparency. And I'd say, for having talked to a lot of executives and other businesses over the years, that is probably one of the things they feel most uncomfortable about. We have real-time NPS scores throughout the business. We put it on our website for our customers to see as a rolling average. We display it on flat screen TVs throughout the offices, like everywhere. And that is incredibly powerful. The second thing in our journey was that we recognized the power of storytelling quite early on. And the challenge was how to bring stories of great customer experience up where people are just doing their job, but the way they do it's incredibly powerful in the eyes of the customer.
So David's big insight at Macquarie was to bring back the joy of the daily act of serving customers. He celebrates the heroes of the business that delight customers, and he uses their stories to measure company progress. So let's come back to this conversation about avoiding the commodity trap. How do we not treat jobs as commodities? Well, here's Carrie at Cole talking about how she does it.
We're a technology company. We're a global connector of telecommunications, and our industry as a whole is a utility. And we recognize that, we see that. It gives us a massive sense of purpose at the end of the day. But it also means that differentiation is where innovation is going to come. And that differentiation can come in different ways, whether it's pushing the net easy button, being more green, or driving, product enhancements in one way or another from a technology perspective. So, we're going to have exciting jobs with machine learning specialists, with, ML ops people, with AI experts, with learning how to actually write better prompts. And all of that is using next generation technology that you can take into a very exciting growth-based company, but you can learn it here.
The aspiration to be relevant today and tomorrow is an incredible, extraordinary aspiration. And it requires an organization that is resilient and that the people within it trust each other every day. So another great example of this is one of the leading tech players from Latin America. And they have this concept that either you build an organization for a regatta or for a cruise. What's a cruise ship? It says that everything's predictable, everything's known, we have a schedule, it's a fun ride, all inclusive. What's a regatta? It's about winning. It's about facing turbulence. It's about a tough team in a high pressure environment, focused on winning, having the right conversations, and doing what it takes in the marketplace. So, thank you for listening. If you can take one thing away, it's that you're in charge of the golden thread. Only you can link strategy and purpose to what you actually do in the marketplace, to the talent that delivers it, to the organization that makes those jobs great. Thanks for watching.